So back on, I'm going to go into some serious topics here now. I'm not sure which one to start with here, but let's go all the way back and let's talk about slavery. And I'm just going to get it out front. I mean, it would have been great, and we would be living in a different country today if the founding fathers, when they signed the Declaration of Independence, would have just said, and we mean this for everybody, everybody's free. The slavery's got to end now. We'd be living in a different world.
Oh, we would.
Because, but I have a hard time. I understand some of the part of how you can sit here and write a document and say in it, all men are created equal, blah, blah, and with the God-given rights, except for you black men.
Right.
You ain't equal.
Right.
So to me, like almost 250 years later, it still undermines this ideological foundation of the country. What do you think about that statement?
What, the all men are treated equal?
Their failure to abolish slavery when they founded the country it's a problem we still deal with to this very day.
Yeah, it's definitely a problem, but I don't think of not all white people think this way or see it this way, but some of them still don't. Like if you go back and say, well, my ancestors went through this and I'm still going through it now. They don't look at it as that because they say, well, you're working, you got a job, you got money, even though they might be making $200,000 and they're only making $40,000, and so it's still not an equal. It's still not an equal playing field. So yeah, there's no whips and you're not telling me when I can eat, when I can sleep, or anything like that. But at the same time, it's still not an equal playing field when you can still look in the inner cities and still see, like, I don't know, it's like, for instance, like my mom was talking to me the other day about it's a new and this is in Brandywine, so it's not like it's like middle class,
right? Yeah,
you know, because y'all know what that is. And they building it's like somebody bought some land, so they want to bring in new merchants. But they're trying to bring in like liquor stores, Popeyes, fast food places, and 7-Elevens and stuff like that. So the community is now saying, why are you bringing that in? Why don't you bring in a Cheesecake Factory? Why don't you bring in, some of the upper types of restaurants or healthy foods?
Right.
Why? Because it's a black area, you want to bring in, Well,
why don't you open it up to local businesses first before you start bringing in nationals
and chains and stuff like that, right? So that whole thing is just like it's still not a equal playing field. It's still where certain race still has to fight to try to get things they want, as opposed to just from the beginning just putting in what should be right.
So what's not equal is opportunity.
Opportunity.
Yeah. And it's There's a lot of ground to cover
there. Yeah.
Because then you have, I'm gonna go get some really touchy ground here now, because like
comment
back to because I'm not going to name names. I don't want to embarrass anybody or start war with some people, but a friend of my daughter and son-in-law said to my son-in-law a number of months back, and my son-in-law is British, so we blame him for everything, that, the white man invented slavery. And I'm like, no, they didn't. In the United States, the British, the land, people that had the land deeded to them, the huge land grants and stuff, they're responsible for being the market for slavery in North America. However, I challenge you to go back and research the Mayan culture, the Aztec culture, ancient Egypt, China, and this is what's going to make people mad, Africa.
Thank you.
Back for thousands of years. Think about it. You got warring tribes in Africa, black on black. All of a sudden, you've got the new world has been discovered. Think whatever you want of Columbus, and there's now a new market for slaves. Well, we can have a battle with these guys, and we can defeat them, and we can capture hundreds or thousands of them, and we can put them on a boat with these white guys and ship them somewhere, and we ain't got to deal with them anymore. That's true.
Oh, yeah.
And you can look it up.
Oh no, and I'm telling you, I know you're gonna say this is interesting again because I keep bringing my son up. We were coming back from somewhere just last week,
Yep.
and I don't know how we get on these topics and stuff, but we'll just start. It'll go from one thing all the way to the extreme to something else. And he mentioned that, and he said, Dad, slavery ain't start here. And so I was like, well, so like where it started? He said it's in Africa. The tribes was catching other tribes and making them slaves.
Yep.
And so that's why when you said it, I was like, yep. Because I mean, I never researched or looked into that much to know that. You know what I'm saying? I knew they were fighting each other, but I didn't know they were doing it to that point. Yeah. He was, oh no.
As far back as there's recorded history,
Right.
in almost every continent, there's slavery. And then the worst place to be a slave, I think, was the Aztec or the Mayan culture, because if your master died, they killed you too. So
Right.
you'd have servants in the afterlife.
Right.
So I'd be keeping that dude alive.
Right, yeah. As much as I could.
But I shouldn't make light of it, but it just, if we're going to deal with this, we got to be dealing with the facts, all the facts and the truth. Because then I'm going to go to another touchy subject, people saying we need to pay reparations to African Americans. What do you think about that topic?
So with the fact of it being slaves everywhere across, then are we going to pay reparations to all slaves or just African Americans?
I don't know where it starts or ends, man. Because you look at, okay, we've got to pay the descendants of anybody who can prove that they're descended from somebody who was a slave in this country. We got to pay them a certain amount of money. What are we paying the Indians?
Right.
What are we paying them? What are we paying people from my ethnic culture who basically were many times were railroaded with trumped up charges and basically said, well, you can go to prison, or we're going to put you on this ship and send you over to the colonies where you're going to be indentured to this British landholder over there. And you're going to have to go over there. You're not a slave, but you can't leave for the next 4 to 7 years. And after those 7 years, we're going to give you a mule and the worst 10 acres we have, and that's yours. That's where you can go do that.
Right.
Well, I just don't know where it starts and ends.
Right, but then again, like if we go back to how we were talking about like the tribe, like we talk about like the football thing, like focusing on my son going to Alabama or Jackson State. In the case of reparations, you look at that, then I would say, the ideal answer probably would be me saying, yeah, the blacks should get reparations, period, first. I'm not worried about everybody else.
Go back. That's an honest answer.
Right,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Right, so.
We'll take care of mine first.
Take care of mine first, right? So.
I mean, to me, I don't think anybody knows what the answer is.
No.
I don't know because my concern is and I'll say this, like I kind of commend like what Georgetown University did when they went back and they researched their university and said, well, wait a minute, we did this and this and this. So anybody who is a descendant of those people who were slaves that served the university back in the day, you got free education.
Right.
Down with that.
Right.
Their sin, their penance, they're
So
cool.
right.
Do your thing. Really concerns me that if we went down the road of I heard somebody online last week say something about $1 trillion reparations. I'm like, you're going to create more division. You're going to create resentment. You're going to create more division. It's going to it could make things worse.
Oh, yeah, it could because it could be where I'm trying to prove that I should get some of that money, and my friend is trying to prove that, or whoever's trying to get that money, and they tell me, well, no, you don't because X, Y, and Z, but then they do. I'm gonna be pissed off, like, well, like, why not me?
Well,
and then you might get it within the races.
And then what happens? Then we're going to be back to the 3/5 thing. Well, oh, wait a minute, we're going to do everybody's genealogy, and look, Lester, one of your ancestors was actually a plantation owner, so you're this fraction white, so we're going to reduce.
Right.
It's going to get nuts.
Oh yeah,
it's going to get nuts.
It's going to get real crazy.
I think if I was the one calling the shots, I'm like, we got to. You keep saying the playing field's unequal. The answer is to create more opportunity, to create more access to education, and the kind of degrees and the kind of investment capital to start businesses and grow businesses and have ownership and stuff like that.
Right.